everybody. I am coming to you from the IMEX floor, second day, end of the second day, and I am so excited to bring to you Flora Munro from 2B UK to talk about food in Scotland, right?
Yeah. Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Thanks very much for having me.
You're welcome. Flora, tell everybody what 2B UK is first.
So 2B UK are a luxury DMC, so destination management company.
Okay.
And we specialise in Scotland and in England. So our head office is in England, but I head up the Scotland team.
Okay.
So we have a branch in both, and we cover the length and breadth of the UK. Between us.
Nice. And you're based in Edinburgh, right?
We are based in Edinburgh, on Rutland Square, which is a beautiful square. It's in the new town, so very lucky. It's a gorgeous building, lovely office.
The whole town is pretty. I was there for the Fringe Festival a couple of years ago. Yes.
Yeah, it's very special. I mean, there's so much personality about Edinburgh. I lived in London for 10 years before moving back. And yeah, it was a decision that I constantly look back on and reflect and think, yes, cool, I'm in the right place and loving life. It's such a great city to live in.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yay. Okay, so let's talk about the signature Scottish culinary experiences for groups. Like what is a traditional Scottish culinary experience in the first place?
Okay, so where to start with this one? I think when people hear the word signature Scottish culinary experience all together, they're instantly going, oh my God, she's going to sit here and talk about haggis. Which I could do, but I think it's one of those really delicious dishes that is better just to taste than to hear what it is. But there is so much going on for the industry, especially the events industry, the DMC industry, and in terms of people coming to Scotland and experiencing Scotland through taste. Scotland's obviously renowned for its whiskies. We have an amazing saying that today's rain, because it does rain on and off in Scotland, today's rain is tomorrow's whiskey. You know, we've got our whiskey tastings, the culinary experiences in Scotland. Scotland is absolutely front and foremost in terms of having its own larder, and we really utilise all of the land that we have. We're so lucky to have all of the green fields, all of, we are essentially a little island in ourselves. So, we've got the seafood, we've got anything from farm to plate, it's just the abundance of food that we have on our doorsteps, whether it's wild game, seafood or farmland, it's all there and it's all curated for us. In terms of experiences and sort of elevating that, because that's very much what 2B UK are all about. So we're not your sort of standardized DMC that look to just take people out for a dinner or put on a beautiful dinner in terms of a gala setting. For us, everything is an experience. So whether it's working with a famous chef who is Scottish, who is championing the country and the larder that we have, that's really important to us. So all of those menus, for example, would be bespoke to the group, and it might include things like venison that has been shot and butchered on the land that the castle is standing on.
Wow.
So it is very much that nature to plate, and no wastage. Wastage in our country just doesn't exist. Even when we are playing around with, trying to introduce people to having a little taste of haggis, rather than serving up an entire plate of haggis neeps and tatties, we might do it in sort of a bonbon sense, which is essentially a piece of haggis that's been deep fried, and who doesn't like deep fried food?
Okay, what is haggis?
Do you really want to know?
Maybe not.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
I think that's a story for another podcast.
Okay.
It sounds not so delicious, but I promise you it is absolutely delicious. And I personally like it for my breakfast on toast with a poached egg.
Okay.
And a bit of brown sauce.
Brown sauce meaning like gravy?
HB,
okay.
HB sauce, what would you have on like your bacon roll in the US? So
not like a hollandaise sauce, but something more. What's that brown sauce made?
It's like a peppery kind of, I guess it's kind of like a meaty sauce. It's like a more peppery barbecue type sauce.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
HB sauce. Big shout out. Enjoy, everyone. It's not Scottish, but it is delicious with some haggis.
Okay.
Yeah, and then also just to sort of go that one step further in terms of, I've spoken about cookery, incorporating into menus and sharing an experience with a celebrity chef. In terms of like meet and greets with the actual suppliers themselves.
Okay.
We have an incredible supplier who we met through a very famous chef called Tom Kitchen, who we have an incredible relationship with. And he actually is a supplier to Tom Kitchen, and he is the person that provides all of the hand-dived scallops to all of his restaurants. So if we have smaller groups of people that would like to go out on the boat with him, they can do that, and they can actually dive for their own scallops, and then they cook them up on the boat there and then.
Wow.
So that's a really epic experience. And then chef's tables, you know, that's something else. You know, if you want to take that experience of learning how to cook Scottish cuisine, but rather than just learning it and you're in a sort of a normal kitchen setting of a cookery class, you know, actually doing a chef's table in a setting such as the Royal Botanical Gardens of Edinburgh. They've got the most incredible demo kitchen that we work with. We absolutely adore the team there. And it really allows people to get behind this sort of a beautiful, it's 3 sides of a square, panoramic glass windows overlooking the gardens while they're cooking up an absolute storm with one of the top chefs of Edinburgh. So yeah, there's loads to do.
Yeah.
I can talk about it for days.
Now that sounds fantastic. So besides the haggis, is there another traditional dish from Scotland that people should try?
It's obviously not traditional, but all of our game is very good. So whether it's partridge, pheasant, venison, seafood is huge in Scotland. You know, a lot of our seafood actually gets shipped all over across the world. The oysters are incredible from Scotland as well. But the haggis is kind of like our main Scottish dish, if you will. And if you want to sort of talk about a Scottish drink that isn't a whiskey, an iron brew would also probably be the next best spot. So it's our version of, some people say, a lot of our American clients say that it tastes a bit like a cream soda, but it's bright orange in colour.
Oh, wow.
And it's fantastic, actually, after you've had maybe too many whiskies the night before, and you wake up in the morning and you're feeling, you know, a wee bit ropey. Having an iron brew will absolutely sort you out. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. I don't drink anymore, but I will still try
So
that.
an iron brew for you then?
Yes, exactly.
Well, we've got loads here, so I can give you a bottle.
Okay. All right. I'll try that. Thanks.
Also, Tonic's tea cakes. Forgot about them. So we've got sweet treats. So like we've got the Tonic's tea cakes, the Tonic's caramel wafer, sort of nice fun little snacks. That those are often we sort of gift to our clients whenever they're coming for site visits. I pack the cars full of them because we're obviously going all over the country, so they've always got something tasty to snack on. So going all over the country, how long is it, or how many hours from north to south and east to west, and does the culinary change by the region? Okay, that is a very good question. It's a bit like how long is a piece of string, because there's so many parts to Scotland that depending on what your interest is. So if, for example, you were going to Scotland and it was a culinary F&B trip, you know, you'd want to go from Edinburgh, you'd want to head up to Inverness, probably head along the Speyside route, which is the east coast. So Speyside is where we have loads of our whiskey distilleries. So you've got even the Speyside cooperage where you can go and see how the whiskey barrels are made. And then pop into a couple of the distilleries as you would. Glenfiddich, Glenlivet are in that sort of territory. All beautiful whiskies, single malts. Yeah, highly recommend that. But that journey in itself, so if you're going from Edinburgh all the way up to Inverness, you know, you're talking 3.5, 4 hours. And then you can continue on even further. So if you wanted to then head all the way over to Orkney, it would include a ferry. But if you're going to Orkney, the oysters in Orkney are unbelievable, but that, you know, that's going to take you quite some time, unless you've got a helicopter, a private jet, you know. These things do tend to take a lot less time. But yeah, there is difficult to put a time on it in terms of when we're talking about the food and beverage department and industry. Is, you know, it's abundant everywhere. So to try and do one trail of the whole of Scotland, come and live with me. Okay. I've got a spare room. Sounds good. Take some time out. See how long it takes you, and then you can answer that question.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. I want to touch on one thing that you said to me while we were walking, because one of the things that I talk about on Eating at a Meeting is safety, sustainability, and inclusion. And we were talking about dietary needs real quickly, but you said it's just not an issue. So
No,
I really want to understand
really not.
that.
And we do find a lot of our American clients, it is a big concern of theirs. And we always kind of look at them and we're like, well, I don't understand what's the problem, because we are very, and maybe it's because we have so much resource in the country. And I know I'm being biased because I am Scottish and I love Scotland, but because we are such big into our hosting, like hosting the Scottish hospitality, no offense to everyone else listening, I just think is beyond anything else. You know, we've spent so much time creating experiences and hosting people that when it comes to like a dietary requirement, we don't want that person to miss out. So what we often say to our catering suppliers and partners, okay, this is our list. You know, I've done dinners for 2,000 people and 50% of that have got a dietary. Like, it's crazy because nowadays, you know, that we have the testing available. Some people just have preferences and would rather not eat gluten, you know, but some people do have really intense allergies. As long as we have that information ahead of the event, it's always catered for. And a lot of the time I will always say to our partners, our catering partners, look, Joe Bloggs has this type of dietary, but everyone else is eating some beautiful other dish. Right. I don't want him just having as what I said to you on the way, a goat's cheese tart. Right. Because that, back in the day, that was what everyone, you know, if you're vegetarian, well, you can have a goat's cheese tart. Or like, oh, you're vegetarian, you can have a mushroom risotto. Right. Like, it was just always the same. Right. Whereas in England and Scotland, and I'm now talking across both for 2B UK, the whole company is one, it's just not an issue. Like, it's always catered for. And we always say to people and our catering partners, if the main group are eating this dish, what is the closest thing that this person can have, so that they're having the same dining experience rather than just feeling like they were forgotten. Right. But yeah, there's so much resource nowadays. I don't feel like it should ever be an issue, and it's certainly not something that we come across as an issue. That's fantastic. I love that. I'm going to have to come eat there. Absolutely. All right, sustainability and practice. Let's talk about, you're an island, and you've mentioned quite a few times, you've got all the resources there. So sustainability, when you're talking food, is it a lot of focus is on food waste, which a new word is what is that new word? The surplus food. Yeah. Are your teams working on it from the front end and not making as much? And then what do you do with the surplus food? Yeah. And how do you think through that? I would definitely say it's working on it from the front end. Okay. You know, we are very strict with our clients in terms of like getting through dietaries, getting through final orders. We will curate that menu 3 months in advance, and we ask for sort of final numbers. It used to be the 2 weeks before the event. Right. I say to people now a month, because if there are small changes, that's fine. But in terms of avoiding that wastage or surplus, when you know the exact number, then there just isn't that wastage. A lot of the time, I have had clients that have said, oh, you know, we want a choice menu, because in the States, that's quite a big thing. Yes. And we do occasionally do a choice menu, but sometimes I will push back and I will say, but why do you need the choice? Because these are two delicious dishes. You just are struggling to choose in the tasting which one you want and which one you don't. So then, so in that situation, you know, I would just speak to the client more and figure out what is the reason behind having the choice. Right. Because ultimately, when you're in a venue, it's not a restaurant. Right. So all of the produce comes on site, is all prepared on site. You know, giving people that choice, there's going to be so much wastage. And I think that maybe that is the difference between the UK and elsewhere, because the restaurants aren't big enough for some of these enormous groups that come through. So that's why we have to utilise the venues or build our own temporary structures to house these huge big events. So that's one way, I guess, just having that information ahead of time is how we would avoid it. I guess another way in terms of sustainability, and I think when I was reading through your questions and how I was interpreting that, was also, I mentioned about the good planning, forward planning, but knowing your audience. So if they are someone that isn't going to take well to having an intermediate course of haggis, as I said earlier, don't serve an entire plate of haggis, neeps and tatties. It's a bonbon.
Right.
And if they don't get eaten, I can guarantee that my team and the wait staff will be tapping into them later on. But yeah, and in terms of sustainability and local produce, again, something that Scotland's so fantastic at is, you know, we can trace everything back because we use local suppliers.
Right.
So our catering partners, like I can literally say to them, oh my goodness, this piece of beef was incredible. Where's that come from? It was so tender. And they'll be like, oh, this is from a farm in Fife. It's a young family. It's a young farm that the family have been farming for years, but this is a new property and a new farm that they've taken on. And they're actually now brought in new Aberdeen Angus, you know, the grass fed, the this, the that, and they'll literally give you all of the blurb about it. And I just love that. I can literally see, some people might find that a little bit intense. You know, you might go on a farm tour with a group, for example, that want to understand the lay of the land, for want of a better say, in Scotland and how things happen.
Right.
They're driving past a field of cows and the barley's on one side and we say, this is the whiskey's made from. And then there's the Aberdeen Angus on the other side. And you're like, yeah, we'll move past that one. But yeah, it's nice because it's all, you know, we champion local suppliers and our suppliers are doing that as well. So it's all very sustainable. Very rarely is anything shipped in.
Wow, that's amazing. Whereas the United States, you go into the grocery store and there's things from everywhere. And actually I saw Instagram post a couple of months ago, and a German grocery store took everything off the shelf that was not from Germany, and the shelves were bare.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But we do, and again, like all of the, so in Fife, which is north of Edinburgh, so it's known as the Kingdom of Fife because it is, the land there is amazing. I have a family that farm up there. They're sort of both arable and, what's the opposite of arable? Arable and, what's the opposite of arable?
What? I don't know.
Arable farming.
Oh.
So both like meat.
Regenerative or?
Can't remember, but they basically, they do all sorts of farming. But the Kingdom of Fife is known for its soft fruits. Gotcha. So like, you want the best strawberry in the world, it's coming from Fife.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but like in Edinburgh, there's so many beautiful hotels. So there is obviously the opportunity to dine on site, but there is it's so easy to walk out your hotel, and there are millions of restaurants across Edinburgh. I mean, maybe not millions, but you know, and they're all beautiful. They're all fantastic food, delicious. We do sometimes encourage people to do that, but in terms of keeping people on property, ultimately, as I mentioned about the whole Scottish hospitality, you know, we really pride ourselves on making people feel welcome and looked after and loved. And it's that kind of sense of that big hug when you come to Scotland. So hopefully with that combined with delicious food and some whiskey or iron brew, if you're that way guy, you wouldn't want to go off property.
Right.
So,
yeah. And you're with all your peeps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all about the company you keep.
Okay. I've been wandering the show floor this week or yesterday, since Monday, asking 3 different questions. My question of the day. So I'm going to ask you those 3 questions.
Questions of the day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Monday was Smart Monday.
Okay.
And so what is something smart that you've seen or have done with food and beverage for whatever experience that you have?
Oh, okay. We once, and this is how my relationship with Chef Kitchen came about actually. So we had a client who came over for a big summit, but there was a lot of events included in this in terms of like logistics of getting them around. There was touring elements, there was everything. And they all wanted to do different things. You know, on 2 different days, we had 27 different tours going out at the same time, as well as hosting a lunch for 100 of them. And this was all happening simultaneously because it was so important. Everyone was getting, whilst it was one big program, and this is what 2B UK are so good at, it could be one big program, but it's catered to the individual as well.
Right.
So we like to give people that choice. But the one thing that was really important to this client was on their dine around night. So a dine around is when you have one big group that's split up, and they could be split up across restaurants or venues, whatever.
Right.
These were split up into 7 different venues, and they were all privately owned homes, or they were iconic venues in Edinburgh. So National Museum, National Portrait Gallery. We worked at Hopetoun House, Arniston House, Gosford House, and I'm forgetting Broomhall House. Have I got them all? Yes, because there was 2 dinners in Gosford. Anyway, it was 7 different dinners. And the one thing that had to stay the same for everyone, so they all got that dining experience, the same one. So the same in terms of we're talking about when we were talking earlier about allergies and intolerances and things like that. They all had to have the exact same menu.
Oh, wow.
Across 7 different venues. Those venues all had different caterers.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's where we contacted Tom Kitchen, and I spoke to him and I said, right, this is what I've got. How can I create one menu that then we can have all chefs create at these different venues? And Tom was absolutely fantastic, and I worked really closely with his PA, Jenny, as well. And he came up with this amazing menu, and one of the starter dish being his signature dish, which is a hand-dyed scallop with puff pastry around the edge, and it's baked, and it is absolutely delicious. But he then trained up all of the chefs, all of the head chefs from these 7 different caterers, all went to his Michelin star restaurant. He trained them all, and then they were all able to teach their teams and deliver it across all 7 venues.
That's fascinating and awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We were all very proud of that one.
As you should be, yeah.
It's brilliant.
All right, question number 2. We have over 100 destinations on the show floor. Yeah. Where would you want to travel anywhere in the world and eat, and what would you want to eat?
That is such a good question. Oh my goodness, that is a really, really tough one. I would... Oh, that's really hard. So if it was just where would I want to go? Oh my goodness. I understand, but then it's what do I want to eat? I want to eat everything.
Well, that's okay.
I'm a massive foodie.
Yeah.
Like that's difficult. Oh my God, I literally can't answer that question.
All right, so just give you just give me a country then.
Is Bali here? I don't know if Bali is here.
I don't know if Bali's
Hawaii's here.
Yeah, Hawaii's here.
Is Hawaii a cool place to go?
Yes, it is.
Okay, I want to go to Hawaii. What do I want to eat in Hawaii?
I can't tell you that.
God.
I know.
Right, so Google it quickly. What's the best
thing to eat in Hawaii? Well, I mean, just like you, the seafood, the pineapples. Having fresh pineapple every single day would be delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Okay.
Brilliant question. Would love to go to Hawaii and eat fresh pineapple every single day.
Sounds fantastic.
Doesn't it?
It does, yes. Okay, and then the question for today was, what food and beverage trend do you see influencing how we meet and eat in 2026? Where
are you coming up with these questions?
Chat GPT.
Jesus Christ. Fuck you, Chat GPT. You're going to have to edit that.
I will.
What trends... And then what was the next bit?
What food and beverage trend do you think that will influence food eating and meeting in 2026? Do you see something going away? Do you see something new coming?
Eating and meeting.
Or just continuing?
Oh my God. For ChatGPT. What food trends, what was the next bit?
Will influence meeting and eating in 2026?
Okay. So I reckon everyone's really wanting an authentic experience when it comes to dining now, especially when they're traveling or like globally. People do want to eat what is the country's cuisine. But it's in terms of the DMC world and in terms of events, it is that authentic experience of it being bespoke to that group. So in terms of meetings, eating and meetings, you know, I would say keeping it as authentic as possible, keeping it different, but as in different. No, that doesn't work. As in, oh God. I think when people are traveling, especially in sort of corporate group travel, it's really important for people, and we've certainly seen a trend that people are getting the authentic experience.
Mm-hmm.
And also that level of personalization in that dining experience.
Mm-hmm.
So it is personalized authenticity to the dishes of the country that they are traveling to. And I think that that is certainly something that we are seeing more and more of.
Mm-hmm.
People are definitely a lot less scared to eat haggis.
Yes. Good.
Which we celebrate.
Okay. Final question. Just finish this sentence. Every meal should.
Every meal should. I didn't want to say something boring like be delicious. That's so shit.
Some people said that.
That is so crap. Like, every meal should. Can I say like be savoured?
Mm-hmm.
Like be not enjoyed. What's the word? Like not be grateful for, but like.
Right. Well, celebrated or.
Like every meal should be devoured.
Okay.
Certainly is in my case.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Fab.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
Thanks for listening to the Eating at a Meeting podcast, where every meal matters. I'm Tracy Stuckrath, your food and beverage inclusion expert. Call me and let's get started right now on creating safe and inclusive food and beverage experiences for your customers, your employees, and your communities. Share the podcast with your friends and colleagues at our Eating at a Meeting Facebook page and on all podcast platforms. To learn more about me and receive valuable information, go to tracystuckrath.com. And if you'd like more information on how to feed engagement, nourish inclusion, and bolster your bottom line, then visit eatingatameeting.com.